or at least you'll figure out how to change it. I don't know, but yeah. So I started back at junior college. I'm a big fan of community colleges, and I think it's like it's the for me. It was like, okay, I've done some screwing around now. How am I going to get myself back on track and get some knowledge and learn and get a degree. I did want to get a degree, and my mom always said, "You need to get a degree." Um, and But yes, I started junior college in Santa Rosa, California,
Oh,
um,
really?
and I eased into my education because I took creative writing, I took backpacking, and then I also took some math to catch up so I could get up to calculus. I think I took trigonometry was at that time.
Did you take
And
underwater basket weaving?
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh, do you know there really is a class on that?
Really?
And it's a Native American class. I just learned that. Someone said, "Oh, that's I because I
Seriously,
said it the other day."
I need to look
My
that class up.
yeah,
That's
but
the class that we name when it's like, hey, just
yeah, yeah,
your schedule for filler. Like, oh, what are you going to school for?
yeah,
Oh, underwater basket weaving. Oh,
yeah.
it's a real thing. Okay, that's pretty
And I
fun.
highly recommend if you decide, oh, okay, I'm going to go back to school, take something fun that'd be fun to learn, and then take the math because nobody likes the math, but the math you got to do it. It's hard for everybody. Um, I just think if everybody had a good solid foundation of math, we'd be able we'd be in a much better situation. I think.
Yeah, and what math can get a bad rap. Math is more than just numbers. It's problem solving. It's thinking things through, right? Recognizing patterns. There's so much to math more than just the numbers that I think people miss out on. So it's just a great tool that is transferable. So I
Yeah,
definitely encourage people to take math. I know one of the things that was really important for me as an advisor is telling do not wait until the end of everything else to do your math and your English. That adds on, right? Okay, I can place in that place in math 98. I got to do math 90B and 94 and then
yeah,
99, and then I do my college algebra. It's like you just
yeah,
added a year to your 2 year degree. So, you know,
yeah.
have your dessert and have your veggies at the same time. So that's important.
And from the data perspective, and this is something I've studied a lot, is students who take college level math and English their first year have a much higher success rate
Hmm.
for their in terms of graduation and everything else. Um,
Well, again, transferable skill, right? Problem
yeah,
solving.
yeah,
It's
probably.
it's there. It's big.
Yeah, and they're changing their thinking on it. Like when I started math, it was all calculus driven, so you had to get through calculus. Um, I can't remember the last time I've ever used calculus. But now they're talking about gearing it more towards statistics, which to
Hmm.
me makes much more sense
Right.
to just have a solid foundation in statistics because people are so uninformed when it comes to surveys and oh well the survey says but most people have no idea if it's a good survey or a bad survey or what even distinguishes the two. Um, and so I think anyways, I'm a big proponent of learn math, maybe not calculus, algebra and statistics. If you understand, because you gotta because they throw statistics at you all the time, um, and they say people lie with statistics. Well, yeah, but statistics don't lie. People can lie with statistics, but they can't lie to you with statistics if you know statistics.
Exactly.
Anyways,
Yeah, throw business math in there. I'm a big fan of business math too.
yeah, 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 yeah. Practical, man. I mean, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah,
Well, good. So you created this document. I wanted to go over
uh,
that. But first, before we do that, one of the things that I wanted to announce. Oh, let me digress. Yeah, I hope that you watched the show from 3 o'clock because there was data there and statistics.
yeah. It's on my list. Yeah,
Well, I would love to see what questions you might come up with because I want to take that stuff back to KCR and say, hey, a data analyst looked at
yeah,
this,
yeah,
had some questions, and I think that'll be a good exercise for the audience to see. Okay, this
yeah.
is what we're looking at. This is
I
what
would
I.
love to. Yeah,
These
yeah,
are the questions. So yeah, so stay tuned for that, everyone. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll geek out with numbers. Uh,
yeah.
but one of the things that was announced in that show earlier at 3 p.m., so go ahead and look for that. is the eviction assistance. The ERAP program is going to close next Friday, which is 5 months earlier than expected, unfortunately. And so, if you're already on the waiting list, you're good. If you're not, it's going to close Friday. So please, if you need eviction assistance help, do not wait. Get into KCR or Housing Solutions. Go to one of the buy-in fours. You can come to G2, Kayak, any of them, and get signed up because next Friday it's going to close, and they don't know if there's going to be funding to open it back up. So again, you've got a week from Friday before this eviction assistance program closes. Uh, so yeah, things are going to get a lot tougher for folks, and just so you understand, it is so full. The people that are on the list are people that have not received eviction assistance help in the past. So these would be first time people, and it's
Uh,
full. So the need is really great in Kitsap County. So just wanted to put that out there. That's super important for folks to know. But let's jump into this document here that you created, which I think is fantastic. Uh, and where can
yes.
people get this document? Can I give them the link?
Yeah, I don't know how to share this. I don't have a. I hadn't thought that right.
I
Can you?
Well, I think you sent me the link, right?
Yeah, well, I sent you a copy of it, right? Or did I send you?
Yes, you did. You sent me. I think you sent me the link here. Let me pull it up here. Where's your name? Boom.
Um,
So
but I could certainly post it somewhere.
yeah, let me copy link address. Boom, and I will put it here in the chat for folks, and I'll put it in the description later so that folks have it. And there is the link, and you can click on that link, and that will give you access to it. So for those of you in the
Oh,
chat, that should be showing up as a
huh,
clickable link for you.
cool. And yeah, I'll figure out somewhere to put it also. But yeah, this is just a guide to being involved in your city government, basically. Because why Bremerton city government is you. You are the government. And okay, I'll just get off. I'll get on my little soapbox on this. Um, I think that we hear a lot of cynicism for government. Government's the problem. Oh, horrible government. Blah blah blah. But the bottom line, the government is you, us, right? It is our government, and it should be reflecting us. I can understand at the national level where people feel like, "Well, I don't feel like I have any connection at all to that." Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. But at the local level, you know, you go to the store with the people that are making these decisions. These are you. This is the community and you making these decisions. So I think so. If people are saying, "Oh, it's the horrible government," you're really saying it's your horrible you because it's up to you. Anyways, that's my whole um, thing on that. Is participate because you get the government that you participate or don't. Um, Takes a village to run a village. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my trying to come up with slogans to tell people they should get involved. so
No,
okay, so okay, people are like, "All right, Jeff, I want to get involved now. How do I do this?"
how do
All
I
right,
do?
yeah. Um, so the easiest way is to pick up the phone. You can call them. The number's right there. Um, and the thing is that this city council and the mayor, they want to hear what you have to say. They really are looking for public input and public comment. They really are trying to make decisions based on your feedback, on our feedback. So, I would urge people to try it. Think of something that you want to say about the city. Give this phone call and call it and tell them what you want to tell them.
You
Nicely,
ever called?
nicely. Keep don't swear like I did at the last meeting. Do
Have you ever called them yourself?
I haven't. I tend to write the email, which is the next one, because I tend to like want to just I type it out. But I was curious that if people could do that, and so I called them and did confirm with the city that yeah they'll take messages, and they'll pass those on. So because for some people they don't have email, and so this is just leaving a message is a pretty easy way to contact the city council. Um, the other way is email, and I pretty much use this one email address for the city council. I was saying earlier that we I'm a little confused about. Well, I think the city council is working this out too. This whole how do you communicate with your constituents? It's a little tricky. It sounds like during the our social media days and with Facebook and email and everything. That it's gotten complicated, and there's lawyers involved, so it's a problem. But not to pick on the lawyers, but so but anyways, they the easiest way. So it's my understanding that any email to a council member goes to all of the members, anyways, and the mayor. So I think anything you email goes to everyone, is what I'm told. I'm not entirely sure that's true, but I assume it is true. So I just assume that. So if I send a message to a specific council member, I'll still send it to this message, and I'll just say, this is directed to somebody, to whoever it is that I want to direct it to. But anyways, that's the email. You send that in, and if you're commenting on a bill or and for the phone or the email, if you're commenting on a bill, I mean on an ordinance or on an agenda item, typically what they'll do is they will add those comments as they come in to the bottom of the meeting agenda. Is it the agenda document, or maybe in the other documents? But I'll show you these later. Anyways, so it's kind of fun. You can kind of see that your message, oh, there it is. Like the next day, you can tune in and say, oh, there's my message right there going to the city council. So, anyways, there's that. And then there's public recognition.
Before you go there, let me ask you a few questions. So you say you prefer email. So how long does it take to get a response? And do you address a certain council person, or is it general?
Well, I've written a lot. So sometimes it'll be that I'll give them my opinion on an upcoming vote. I've sent them emails suggesting books they should read that I thought would be good. I've sent them emails, sometimes not usually directly to specific council members, but or questions that I have. Why are things about why your police don't seem to be abiding by Boise Cascade, and what's up with that? But things like that. I don't know. Is that what you mean, or? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes when we give folks, information, it's nice to kind of share. Like I'll open up the web page, so they know they're at the right web page. Because when you finally go in, it could be a week or 2 weeks later, and like, am I in the right spot? It's like, what do you expect? What should someone expect when they send an email? Like, someone say, "Thank you, we've received your message," and someone will get back to you.
Yes, and they will send. You will get a message back that says exactly that we received your message and we forwarded. And sometimes they say, "Oh, this sounds like it's a legal question," so we forward it to the legal people. Or sometimes, "Oh, this sounds like a public works question," so we've also forwarded to. They're very responsive. The city is very responsive to. I found, in my opinion, in my experience, of responding back and really reading and listening to what they receive.
So now, when you said that they put it on the bottom of the agenda, do they read it or do you just see it?
Do they? I don't know. Well, I don't know if they read it, but I assume they read it. I'll show you when we get down to the later in this. Or well, maybe jumped. Well, let's. There's Yeah, I'll show you one of those documents in a little bit. You can see where it is. I'll show you, and I'll show you some comments that people have submitted. That's what.
Nice, perfect.
And then okay, so public recognition. That's when people. Well, right now they call in on Zoom because they are not meeting in person yet. I've heard a lot of complaints about that lately. That people really would like them to get back to in-person meetings, and over at the I was over near the Salvation Army, and a bunch of the people out there were like, "Yeah, have they opened up those? I want to go over there." And I said, "Well, it's on Zoom." They're like, "Ah, nobody listens to Zoom. I want to
Mhm.
go there to hear where they can hear me." And so anyway, so there's quite a big. So I'm saying, oh well, that's try that phone number. Tell me you want public comments, or you want the public meetings. But anyways, anybody during that meeting, they've changed the order of things now so that public recognition, I think it goes the mayor's report, and then they do the consent agenda, and the consent agenda are things are ordinances or they're agenda items that are voting. Well, I'm not saying this for all. They're items that they're voting on that they don't think need discussion. So the things that they typically put in a lot of like we're paying the electricity bill this year. We're paying the we're putting in a new pump on 24. We're putting in so all that kind of stuff they kind of lump into consent agenda, which to me seems reasonable. You can always dig into it further. But anyway, so that way they don't have to spend a lot of time talking about stuff that's pretty cut and dried and there's not a lot of controversy over. So that's the consent agenda, and they just quickly say, okay, does everybody agree on all these? Yes, boom, they vote out and go move on. There is still public comment there, though. If somebody wanted to comment on something, um, they could comment in there. If they want to comment on anything that's on the consent agenda, the public does have a time to comment at that point.
Okay.
Um, and and it's also possible for the any city council member to take it off the consent agenda if they said no, we really should have a bigger discussion of that. But consent agenda. Okay, so then after so it's the mayor, the consent agenda, and then that's where now then you have the public recognition. And public recognition is for you to say anything you want to say. It doesn't have to do with something else that's on the general discussion, which comes after the public recognition. So it's consent agenda, public recognition, and then general items or something like that, general items. And then, so anyways, so in public recognition, you can comment on anything that's not already on the agenda to be talked about.
Gotcha.
And you have up to 3 minutes. And you can squeeze a lot into 3 minutes. And
So I got a couple questions for you here. So how many
okay.
people can speak? Like, let's say there were 50 people. Do they allow all 50, or do they say, "Hey, so sorry, but we're running short on time. We got to cut you short. Try again next time."
Um, I think they can set limits. I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. That would be great if that happened. I'd just love to see that many people speaking.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they can cut it off. I've only seen that at other city councils where they had to cut. But well, I was thinking about this. I went to a lot of the hearings on the Stone Child in Polsbo, and always had a huge line of people, and so they ended up having to accommodate just about everybody because I think when the line gets that long, you kind of have to accommodate people because there's something going on.
Yeah.
So I would have to say that I would expect that they would accommodate anybody who wants to speak. Um, but obviously, I guess there's probably a limit to that.
So as being a person who has given your 3 minutes, what's like 3 to 5 tips you can give to people to try to prepare? Because 3 minutes is an eternity, but then when you're speaking, it goes like that.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the individual because for me, I freeze if I do these in person. On Zoom, I can do them. I don't know what it is, but on Zoom, but when first time I tried to speak in front of city council, I just froze because I saw my head up on this big, huge screen looking down at myself, and I was like, what the heck? I am the Oz, one day. Um, but then I just, I couldn't speak. But anyways, I think it's good to line up. So for me, just writing down the basic things that I want to hit and then ad libbing seems to work best for me as opposed to trying to read something pre-written. Other people are completely the opposite and much better at writing it out and timing it out um, and doing it. I would say practice. Practice doing it once or twice. It's public speaking. I think a lot of people get nervous public speaking, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it, I guess. Um,
What could be really tough, especially when you are, really emotional and passionate, and you're trying to get it in, and you feel like
right.
people aren't listening, and you're frustrated. It does go.
Yeah.
So you're saying like bullet points, and then kind of free flow.
That's what I like to do. I'll have to say the best statements I've seen have been written out, really thought out, like in read statements that people I'm like, wow, that was really good. So yeah. Sorry,
I
go ahead.
was just gonna say, I know I feel like when I speak, sometimes I'll practice it and I'll think about what I want to say, and then I get up there, and if I don't at least have my bullet points, I'm like, oh, I forgot to say, I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I think having some bullet points at least is important. So maybe you don't have that all the way written out, but your points that you want to hit, your markers.
Yeah, at some point with our group, I want to. We're talking about doing a training, just like walking through it with people, and just doing some just I don't know, whatever, play acting with it, and yeah, trying it out, and
Some role play.
so yeah, role playing. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, Jeff, I just got an idea. Do you think, for the folks that are like, "Oh man, I don't want to be on a Zoom," could I bring my computer, like let's say downtown, let city council know that these folks don't have access to a computer, but there are 5 or 6 people that want to give their 3 minutes, and they're all going to be under, let's say, the conduit's name, so they can come up and then be on camera that way?
I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, I think that would be great. Um, I would reach out. I'm sure they would be open to that. I can't imagine they would not be open to that.
Well, before we end tonight, we'll craft an email and send it, and we'll
I
see what
like
they
it.
say, and then we'll share, openly and transparently, the
I
process.
like it.
So
I like it.
we'll use this document, send the email, and see what happens.
That's a great idea. I would love to do that. Yeah, any way I can help with that. Let's see what else. Oh, and direct action. I just had to end with that because sometimes you can't get the system to move, and you do have to come down to organized protests and civil disobedience and stuff. But that's the kind of last step of political participation, I would say. I would try all the avenues first, um, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, so on the next section is okay. So how do we stay informed? That's how we communicate. But how do I know what's even going on? How do what's the best way I think to stay informed is this. They have an email list, and I'm not sure the name if it has a specific name, but it's their email that goes out to attention to council members, Mayor Wheeler, city department directors, community members, and the press. So if you send an email to city council, that same email address, um, ask for to Lori Smith, mention Lori Smith, and ask her to add you to that list. Then anytime a new meeting is added, you get a notice. Anytime a new agenda is published, they send it to you. When they update the agenda, they email it to you. So everything gets emailed directly to you, which I like because then and also I like it because it's easier to get to the agendas than. Anyways, I think it's the easiest way. If you really want to stay up to date, that's the easiest way, in my opinion.
And maybe I
Um,
should do that because I was looking for the Zoom link, and I was all over the city's
yeah,
website, and I couldn't find it. I think I had to reach out to you or someone else, like, "Can you please send me the Zoom link again? Because
yeah,
I've been looking for 15 minutes."
yeah. Um, Yeah, as I said, the meetings are only on Zoom right now. So you have an action there. Call and ask for in-person meetings again if you desire that. Then that number. um, Then okay, there's the online meeting schedule, and I don't know. Can you go to that website
I
right now?
can't. Let me see if there's a way to let me click on. Let me unshare this and see if I can select this. May not let me do it. I probably gotta download it.
Here,
I'll
I can.
download the document here.
I can. I think I can find it really quick here.
Can you see who gets there first? Dun, 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 dun. All right, looks like I'm there.
Ah, yeah, you are. Okay, perfect. Uh, okay, so on this page, usually they'll have today's meeting if there was a meeting today.
Hmm.
Um, the next meeting is not until July 6th, so that they usually would have a Wednesday meeting, but on the fifth fifth Wednesday they don't have meetings. They get a break. Can't believe that, right? The guys who get paid $1,000 a month, what do they want? A break? Just kidding. They deserve a break. They deserve a huge break. Um, let's see. So anyway, so it has the information on here how to get it to the BCAT feed for that. How to and then they have the Zoom feed. So BCAT, which if everybody does, I don't know if people may not know what that is. That's the Bremerton Kitsap Access Television,
Hmm.
and they have a record of, or they publish a recording, and I guess they broadcast live the general city council meetings. Um,
Who's
so
the
they don't,
real quick?
yeah, so they don't broadcast the study sessions or any of the committees or anything.
And so it's just like a regular TV channel, right? They've got their scheduled
Yeah,
shows here. So at 5:30 is the Bremerton City Council here. You have
yep,
Amy's Oldies, Democracy Now. That's pretty
yeah,
cool that they advertise or they play Democracy Now.
yeah.
So
I've
then,
always been a big fan of community access television. There's just so many weird, well, not weird, but yeah, fun stuff, political stuff, and yeah.
it
I
was,
haven't ventured too much into this one yet, though. But I met the guy who does the music hour or some sort of concert show, and he's like, "Oh, you should catch my show." So I'll do that.
yeah, we are actually working with BCAT to get some of the Conduit shows on there. Just
That would be perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect fit. Yeah,
well, we just have to decide what to put on there because we have so much content. So,
yeah.
Kids at Public Health was asking me the other day how many videos did we have, and I said, "Oh, we're at 400 plus. We're almost at we're like at 478 videos." It's like, oh man,
Wow.
it's a lot. But yeah, you can just kind of search here by what's live. You can look at the playlist. You can search by programs, and you can also look by recent. So, just wanted to share that with everyone, and I'll just go back here. And then this Zoom link is here is for the public, correct?
Yes. And then, but if you scroll down, this is what I. Oh, and then you have the meeting packets, agenda meeting packet. If you click on that, let's see what it is. Yeah. So you can see for each of these meetings, you have an agenda and a meeting packet, right?
Hmm.
Um, so if you look at the packet for the city council, the top city council meeting,
Okay, so as I
or
go to
or or go to agenda. I guess we can go.
okay, so as I click on the agenda here for July 6th at 5:30, you can click
Okay.
right here above to subscribe and to get those email
Ah,
notifications.
there it is, right there. Thank you. Yes.
All right, so that's going to open up here. Let me make that a little bit bigger for us. All right.
Yeah, and this is good. This is so then you can, yeah, look. So it gives the links for how to tune in again, and then it gives the agenda. Um, and this is where you can see, what's coming up. Is there anything interesting going on? Um,
I love that because you and I could be a little bit more selective on if we want to cover every city council meeting, or we can come here and say, okay, yeah,
Yes.
homelessness, housing, we need to cover this one.
Yeah.
So I like that. What sounds stormwater outreach group might be interesting to know about that public works agreement.
Yeah,
With
I mean, we get right down to it. They're all interesting questions, and when you sit on like the public works meeting, you're like, wow, there's a lot to these fire hydrants or whatever, and there's it's interesting how you go into things. You're like, how many things that you probably have opinions on once you listen to it, like, oh, I don't know if I like that, or
yeah, hydrogeological oversight for well drilling. Like, where's that
right.
place? That's interesting. You're right.
Let's see, and then there's the public recognition, and then the yeah,
This
and
one might
the
be important for us, right? That these are block grants here, CDBG, I believe, home policy plan. And so
yes,
the
that
public
that
hear-
is so yeah, that is something I'm interested in learning more about. I don't understand. Yeah, and somebody also said they're having a public comment on this CDBG something. So yeah, I need to find out more about that too.
so we'll definitely cover this one next week. So we'll be airing that live and then we'll discuss after.
Oh, now here's an interesting one. I forgot about this. So executive sessions. Executive sessions are when they shut out the public and they have a private conversation. Um, I'm trying to learn a lot more about when they can actually do that and why and how they are choosing to implement this. It's
Mhm.
a little tricky, but it's just interesting. So, but if and I don't know, can you pull up that RCW?
Should I just Google it?
Yeah,
Will that be enough?
yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know how hard that is. Yeah,
Not hard at all.
not hard at all.
Did it with one hand.
Okay, so to consider an enterprise. Okay, so this is the thing. So these are all the list of reasons. Um, well, hold on. So nothing to consider. So nothing in a regular meeting. So these are all the reasons that they can do it, and it's to consider matters affecting national security. I'm like,
Wow.
what?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't. If in compliance with any required state data breach, it's like things. If we're getting sued, well, I feel like, well, what shouldn't we know if
Well,
you
it
guys are getting
said
sued?
pending litigation, didn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, pending litigation.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
they always keep that secret, and it's like because for legal reasons we can't tell you what. But on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like if they're getting sued a lot, we should know that. But maybe there is a way to know that without. So, anyways, more. I'm interested in this, and the B. This part really interests me because yeah,
To consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause the likelihood of increased price. Wow.
yeah. Again, that sounds to me like, well, shouldn't we know if they're negotiating for this in the first place? I don't know. I have a lot of questions here, and this is where, yeah. But I decided to throw this in here, and so
No,
there's
no.
all these different reasons that, and so, I would like to, in the interest of transparency, I'm going to follow up and just find out, what. Well, one of the things, for example, for the two that they mentioned in the upcoming one,
Mhm.
so I did write to the city council and I said, can you tell me which specific section of that RCW you guys are referring to because of it? But they said, but it's weird because sometimes they'll come back and they'll vote on it, and so then you'll find out what it was. Like one of the things that they there was the big opioid settlement,
Mm.
right? For the state had a big opioid settlement, and it somehow it got down to the city then had to approve the opioid settlement or sign on to the agreement. Um, and that was in executive session. I was like, well, why is that? Why are we not knowing? Why are we not allowed to know whether we're signing on to that? I don't know. But maybe, that might be a really good thing to get the city attorney to just maybe have a conversation with about, what are the controls of that in terms of, public oversight. But anyways, not to digress too much onto this, but I think it's an interesting thing to talk about.
I didn't know
So
any of
okay,
this.
so
It's all education for me.
okay, now if you go back and then go to the meeting packet, I wanted to show you hopefully some comments. Although, let's see. Yeah, I may not have any comments though. Oh, it's probably not going to have any comments. So we'll have to go back to past.
About the city council meeting, the June 15th. That one should
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yes.
All right, let me enlarge that and slide it on over there. All right.
All right. Now this is where you go when you want to dig into the details a little deeper. Um, Yeah, and if you scroll down, so here, you see where you have those highlighted? So here
Mhm.
on this agenda, if you click on those, then you can read all the supporting documents they have for that.
If I can pick a good one. Grant applications for the Washington Administrative Office of Courts. All right, let's do that. Just pop me down here. Motion one, move to allow municipal court to submit 2 grant applications with the Washington Administrative Office of the Clerks and with the Bureau of Justice Assistance with the commit to supplying the necessary matching funds for the BJA grant. And then motion two, move to approve the memorandum of understanding MOU and authorize the mayor and municipal court judge to execute the MOU on behalf of the city. And the council can approve, deny, table,
Yeah.
continue, or no action.
Okay, then you scroll down, and then it has all the data, all the information, or yeah, like how much are we talking about?
Woo, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
All righty.
Okay, and then
Per
so
year.
there's yes, all sorts of details you can dig into, and then but if you scroll all the way down, I was going to show you the public comments. So yeah, hopefully there's some public
Yeah, I'm
comments.
gonna scroll down. Just whatever this is over four
Yeah,
years. So this is $150 million
yeah,
a year for 4 years. Like, oh, and
yeah,
there's two of these, so that's 300 million a year. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, we should probably look at that. What
Yeah.
is safe policing of safe communities? Yeah, there is a lot to dig into there. Yeah, what's going on? Anyways, hmm. Yeah, and one of these grants, I read through at one point, it was like it required that the police department have a close and working relationship with the immigration department and be turning over their records. And
Oh.
I read, and that was just happened to be one I was reading through. I was like, whoa, wait, what is that? And I wrote it, and they said, no, they changed that. They don't require that anymore.
Well,
It's
here,
free
this is
money.
this is
Yeah,
nice to see this kind of coming down locally, right? The agency's use of force policies prohibit chokeholds except in situations where the use of deadly force is allowed by law, right? And so these things are, a result of George Floyd.
right.
And you're seeing this kind of hit us locally. It's taken a minute, but it's here now. The certification requirement also applies to law enforcement agencies receiving DOJ discretionary grant funding through the subaward. Discretionary means they get to decide what they want to do with that money, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
For detailed information on the certification requirement, please visit this link. So you can really dig into this money and how it's to be used and what else they can do with the money. Yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back and look at that one now. I put that one down and skipped over. Yeah. This, and this brings up another. There's so much here. It's like, how do people keep up with it? And Yeah, that used to be the role of the news, right? It used to be that you would have a city beat reporter who would be covering stuff again. We do have reporters that are covering it, but it's one of those jobs where you got to love it because you're not going to make any money in it, right?
Right, right.
And it's just not. So I feel like that's missing still is somebody. And so thank God you're doing this to just really distill like, well, okay, what's important, what should be pulled out, and because there is just so much, but it's all interesting. It's all fun to read through.
Well,
I
and
mean, who doesn't like?
you're giving us a starting point.
Yeah,
So I've been interested in some of these things, but it's like, so what do I do? Where do I even start? And then it's just it's so macro,
yeah,
right? It's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm so busy.
yeah,
I'm hungry. I gotta try to pay my rent. I gotta,
yep,
and then a year goes past or 2 years goes past, and it's like, what did they do? How did
yeah.
this
They
happen?
passed what?
Right.
What? They passed a law saying I can be kicked out of my apartment. What?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how it is, right? And it's like, hey, you could have came and gave public
yeah.
comment, but so no, this is all really really critical for folks to know. What else you want me to look at in
Um,
here?
let's see. Down towards the bottom, well, actually, are there any? I don't know if there's any comments, but somewhere in here, this is where they would have comments. If there was,
I'll keep scrolling here. Pretty long. I'm almost halfway done with the document. So if you see it, just stop me.
actually, scroll all the way to the bottom. So I think that they're usually at the very end.
Ooh, this is long. Ooh, this is long.
Oh, there was. Okay,
Let's
scroll back up a little bit. I saw a comment finally. There it is, Jim McDonald. He's a frequent commenter. Okay, so here's a typical comment that someone has written in pertaining this. For Rebecca Jones wrote in.
all right. So I was going to look for maybe a shorter one to
Yeah,
read. Please add the attachment documents as my comments for the public hearing for the transportation improvement plan. I'll read another one.
yeah.
Shout out to Jim. I know Jim.
Oh,
Okay, fine. I'll read hers. Greetings. With respect to the city's annual update of its transportation plan, I'm requesting that the city focus on improving traffic and parking in the Manette neighborhood and, in the larger picture, improve the infrastructure of the treasured neighborhood as the city moves toward increasing density and marketing the commercial areas as a destination and shopping restaurant area. So this is big, right? So she's advocating for her area, what's important to her. So if there are issues in your neighborhood, on your street, um, this is how you're going to share that information, right? One of the biggest concerns relates to the problematic traffic flow and the parking situation on Pitt Avenue between Harkin Street and 11th Street. It appears that the parking signage has been removed on the west side of the street, and it is not uncommon to find cars parked from corner to corner, right? A lot of us have dealt with issues with parking or signage or things like that. This creates a safety hazard as vehicles are turning right off Harkins are forced to swing wide into oncoming traffic onto Pitt. So, this avocation is super right. Those of us who live adjacent to Manette, commercial core also have this experience of alleyways being nearly blocked off by folks who park right up to the entrance and exit alleyways. It would seem that many of these issues are easy fixes with signage and or red paint designated no parking zones. I love this because she offers a solution, right? It's not just stating the problem, it's saying, hey, these are some things that you can do to resolve this.
yeah, cool. And kind of related to this, one of the things the city council has been really talking about quite a bit this year is what gets put on the priority list in terms of public works projects. How is that
Mm,
list decided? And and even looking at that from an equity, it sounds like I'm hoping they're going to look at that from an equity viewpoint. And it's important. Like which sidewalks do get fixed first, and how do you decide which ones need to get fixed first? And there's been a whole lot of conversation about that. And yeah, next time you have Council Member Chamberlain on, ask her about that because she's on the Public Works Committee. She may be chair of the committee. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I actually owe her an email. It's our Juneteenth, and she was like, "Send me that email so I can get back on."
okay.
And I love the pictures to also illustrate it, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this truck is in the street, and it can't really get much closer there. And obviously, folks can't walk here either, so definitely a concern. What a great example there. I love it. And of course, I know right where this is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And are these people that maybe here's a list of eateries? Okay, they're listing the eateries because I was wondering if they were signing on to it. Again, solutions. This project could be funded in several ways. Over the last few years, the city has been running large budget surpluses. So taking money from your ending fund balance would work. Bremerton stated this year, started the year with over $20 million in cash and liquid investments. So it's like, hey, if they had $20 million, could we have purchased some property and dealt with our worked through our homeless issue?
Can we get a couple of toilets out of that $20 million? Yeah,
$20 million last
I
year.
know. And this is where I'm hoping that we can pry open the budget process a little bit this year, because yeah, I think there is a lot of money and there is a lot of need, and I don't think that the mayor's proposing a budget that will address needs of the poor. I don't think that's he wants to put his money into attracting wealthier people, from what I understand of what he says. But I would, yeah, like, so if we got the $20 million, why do we have people sleeping on the streets? I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah. And then, last year the city collected REIT funds of about 1 million. So how does a regular citizen know what REIT funds are? I don't know what REIT funds are, but they know that there are
right.
REIT funds and there's $1 million worth, right? This is Jim McDonald. Well, that's how we that's how he knows it's Jim. So he was a councilman
Yeah,
once upon a time. So but still, right? I mean, this is someone else who is talking about the same issue, and so there is power in numbers, right?
and related to the numbers, the I'd really like to. Um, Michael, who's sometimes on here, I guess he's not on here tonight, but he's an MBA, and we've started looking at the budget and these funding. We could really use a budget expert to just like bounce some ideas out and to help us understand REIT funds, to help us understand, because they say, oh, these funds can only be used for this or that. I would really love to get in a room with somebody that really understands that, because I know, being a political scientist, I know a lot of it is a choice, and they say, "Well, this is only allocated for that." But yeah, I would love to understand that. So if I don't know, maybe that'd be another good show, pulling on a overview of money, city money.
Oh, I'd absolutely love that one. That'd be fantastic.
Okay, so we can go back to the sheet, I guess. There,
One thing I wanted to
or
note too was you said the city of Bremerton had a $250 million budget, right? And so looking at this here, this project to replace 2,200 foot of failing cast iron pressure sewer along Oyster Bay is was that 1%, 223,000. I mean
mhm,
that money adds up pretty quick. You know,
yeah,
250 million is a lot of money, but it goes fast.
yeah.
And you said 20 million for police.
I think that's right. Those are, well, yeah. Don't quote me
Don't
exactly
put
on
them
those. I'm rounding in my head. So, but that, like I said, I would like to go through the budget like really with a lot of people who know what they're really know their way through budgets. So
Yeah, let's plan on that. I love that idea.
I don't even really agree with the concept of money, so I don't do well with budgets.
These are huge, huge
Yeah.
contracts, and then even how are they
Well,
deciding on contractors? Are we using local contractors? What's the process?
well,
You know,
yeah, and there has been a lot of conversation of that too. Why? Yeah, how did were there competing bids? What were the why are we always go? Yeah, there's a lot of yes. When you're spending $250 million, those are really important questions to ask. I think.
yeah,
You
are
know,
you a job creator? Did you look locally? Because
right,
oh well, there just was no one locally that we could do.
right,
So did you empower them through, what is it? The business and economic development key,
right.
you know are there some ways that we can work with the college and the shipyard to train and vocationally make get folks into a place where they can actually do this work and keep the money inside the county and help
Yep,
folks stay in their homes?
yep.
That'd be a great idea. Just saying. Good, good. Okay, what's next? Got me excited.
Let's see. Let's see. Back to the document. The no, no, I'm sorry. Back to the meeting page.
This one.
So yeah, scroll down. Yeah, yeah, I missed all. Okay, so you have yeah, keep scrolling down to and you get okay. So there you got the calendar, and if you see just above the calendar, there's three tabs.
Hmm.
There's council meetings, committee meetings, but there's nothing under district meetings. I would love to see district meetings added. One of the things, and this was one of the things I wrote to, and they fixed like the next day, because they weren't putting any of the committee meetings up here, and it was just whatever. Somebody stopped doing it over time, whatever. But I wrote in, and they said, "Oh yeah, thanks for mentioning it." And so now they're really good at putting all these committee meetings on here, um, and all the council meetings. And I don't know if there are district meetings, but that would be.
Are these
I
committee
think
meetings also public and aired?
Sorry. Yes, yes.
They
All of those are aired. Yes, and they're only. Have I shown that part where they post them? These are the ones. Yeah, that they're only posted. The recordings are only posted for a set amount of time, and I don't know whether that's a month
Oh,
or.
here are the archives here. Can we click there really quick? So meeting videos
Yeah.
and archives. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's not good. So
Let's see if you go to yeah, meeting archives. Is that what you clicked on? The meetings are. Whoops.
yeah, it just gave me a blank.
Da- Down a little farther.
This one here.
That one. Yeah.
One is just the agendas, packets, immediate and minutes.
Okay, okay, that's actually the one. So then if you click on media, there are all the recordings that they have available right now. And so you can see they go back June. So it must be like every month or I don't know, they probably leave them up for 30 days. I don't know how many days,
It
but
should probably.
once they pull them down, they're down. But you can always say, "Oh, I didn't see the tape of Public Works Committee on June 21st, and it's not up here anymore." You can write them in and ask them to send you that, but you have to put in a formal request for it, so it's kind of a hassle. But you can get it. Um, and I will say that they are talking about trying to make all of this much more available and much more easy to access. I know Jeff Coughlin's been pushing for that, and somebody else, but yeah. So it's because it's yeah. So all these are all the council study sessions, and then the last city council meeting is up here, um, and so that's the place where you can always get a copy. Um, so far that I could found. Otherwise, it's on BCAT. Otherwise, it's on um, your show, I guess.
Yeah, so the ones that I can cover, there's definitely a lot here, so
Yeah,
it may be
yeah,
difficult for me to cover them all until
yeah, yeah.
we build up our staff. so they can cover it when I can't. But
Yeah.
are the ones on BCAT when they air there? Can you go and look at past episodes on BCAT?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so if it's there,
Uh,
it's good. So I did click on one. I just wanted to show folks what that looks like here. That's gonna load. So it took a couple minutes for it to download. So it's gonna be depending on your bandwidth there and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and can you see that on your screen? Are you
sharing
able?
with you one more thing too. Oh wait, what are you doing?
I just clicked on one of the archived meetings.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, yes. They take a long time to download. A long time. Yeah. Well, depending on the length, obviously, but yeah, some of these, yeah, I start them downloading and come back later. Um,
Gotcha. And so this
but
is the REACT meeting. So this is the Race and Equity Committee. They met
yeah,
on June 9th. And so this was right before Juneteenth. So that might be interesting to uh, see what they had to say. And so you can see who is uh, part of REACT. So I see Anna Mockler and Aaron Leidick, Daryl Riley, Quinn
not,
Denicky, Sarah Van
not,
Gelder.
we're not seeing that screen.
Oh, you're not seeing it? Let me pause that and find myself here. As soon as it loaded, it messed up all my screens there.
That was a pretty short. And I would urge people to please attend the React meetings. About the only people, well, not there's just a vocal racist group of people that call them there a lot.
Really?
It's nice to kind of balance those views out a little bit. I think.
Wow.
Well, racist. Maybe that's harsh word. They don't want to talk about race in government, but I won't say that. I don't know what they. I will let them speak for themselves. But
Yeah, well, let me
strikes me as a little racist, but let's see what you think. Um,
let me do that. Let me do this. I'm gonna just turn this off here for a second and share a different screen. I'll share it by window. There we go. There we go. So this was the React meeting, June 9th there. And so do they allow for public comment here also?
I think they do. Some committees do, and some committees don't. I have commented there, so I think yes, they do allow comments there. I think,
Okay.
but I don't know if they're at the beginning or I don't know where they are in the process.
And I know that's tough. It's like people don't always have the time to sit in. You got a city council meeting, then you got a budget meeting, and you got React, and you got this, and you got that. I think it's really helpful to have a group or a team of folks that can kind of divvy it up and say, "Hey, I'm going to go here and report back," you know,
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
team. Because there's no way to stay in the know with all of this, let alone trying to comb through and read documents, right?
And React, they need members too. Um, it's interesting. I thought I heard them talking about can we pay people to be on these committees, pay citizens to be on these committees?
Mhm.
And there was definitely pushback from the old school saying, no, these are volunteer. We did it volunteer. They'll do it volunteer. But I'm kind of feeling like that is more and more of an equity issue. Like who can actually participate? And should I think citizens should get paid to be on these boards or committees and because they're you need their I don't know. You're paying for their expertise in my mind, but
Yeah.
however you want to look at it.
Yeah. If you even if you paid minimum wage, for that time, you think when you're talking about equity, it's like, okay, well, I can't afford the 2 hours to attend this because, well, I've got to be
Right,
at work or I got to get my child from childcare, whatever the case may be. So
right.
then I'm not part of the process. So it's not really we the people, right? It's you the people, and I would just deal
Right.
with whatever you guys decide.
Right. Right. Okay. So that's that. That's where all those are. Oh, I dropped a link in the chat.
Oh,
One
okay.
more set of videos. And this is on I guess it's my YouTube channel right now. But did you get that link?
Yep. I'm
Okay.
going to it right now.
And what this is really a collection of all the housing discussions so far this year, and it's just really edited down to the actual just the housing discussions.
Wow.
And
Wait, there's only been 5?
no, if you go
in a year?
click on videos,
Oh,
yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure the best way to navigate through this.
I'm like, well, that might
Yeah,
be the problem. There's only five meetings in the whole year. Oh, I love this. I think this is really great. Let me pop this in the chat for those of you that want to see the discussions that are happening. Those that are our decision makers. Yeah, I think this is really important. And you edited it, so that's fantastic. For 6 minutes, 4 minutes, you can really get up to speed to what direction folks are, what they think.
yeah, and we've actually broken out. Yeah, each member's comments separately too, so you can say, oh, well, what is their, what do each one of them feel about this?
Oh,
And
fantastic. Let me go ahead and subscribe to that. And everybody else, you can subscribe to that and subscribe to the conduit.
yeah,
It's just that easy. And then hit the bell so you get that note of time there's a new YouTube. That's how easy it is.
and so far, Anna Mockler is the most popular video.
Okay.
Where is it?
Now, what makes her so popular?
Um, I think it's because she was arguing for talking about housing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what is that? That's a short one.
At 21. Okay, I'll play it.
Understand that we can't use the June 29th because
Oh.
we do want to have additional sessions where we talk about mega stuff. An affordable housing summit, which I had been hoping to pitch for June 29th, but now I can see that that's no good. Where like Habitat for Humanity could come and talk to us about public-private partnerships, where we could discuss the possibility of using city-owned land for subsidized affordable housing, rather than expecting developers to bring it to us. Affordable housing, streets. There are a number of issues that everyone in our districts.
Okay, first off, I had to pause it. Is Eric Younger asleep?
I don't know, but I think that Greg Wheeler's eyes are definitely rolling.
I'm saying no one looks thrilled to be having this conversation. First off,
No.
this is quite concerning, right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
a discussion on housing and homelessness. Eric may be asleep. The mayor's rolling in his eyes, and nobody is enthused. Oh man, let's continue.
They want to be safe to walk on their streets, safe in their homes. I would like to start using not June 29th, but the following 5th Wednesdays. We have 2 more in the year. To
Okay, Eric is definitely resting his eyes.
talk about meta stuff because, as you say, President Goodell,
that would be great. Oh, sorry, I can't. It's choppy a little bit, so I thought you stopped.
No, I was going to quote you. So you have said a couple of times that we spend a lot of time just moving, things a little. And that's quite true, but it would be for this council, I think, and I ask for you guys' opinion, helpful to, really spend a full session drilling down on one topic. Affordable housing is the one that occurs to me, but I yield to the majority. All done. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway, everything you just brought up would be a great piece of discussion at the retreat. So
I would say those folks might need some poker lessons.
um, yeah, one thing I think it's I'm really pushing to keep these Zoom meetings. I hope that because I just think this has opened up a lot of transparency that we didn't have before.
Hmm.
Because I used to go to the meetings with the study session meetings, and those were horrible. You sit on this little bench on the side of this room, and you can't hear what they're saying, and it was just awful. Whereas now you can hear everything, you can see everything, and I don't know. I hope they keep that up. But anyways, so those are some. Sorry, go ahead.
And my hope is that they do the hybrid, right? It's like when you open it back up, keep the Zoom going.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
exactly,
don't cut the Zoom
exactly,
off.
exactly. And it can be done. I've seen people are doing it already pretty
Well,
well.
kind of my thought on this is, obviously homelessness is a hard problem to solve, but if the folks don't seem enthused to be in the solution, an
Yeah,
idea probably isn't going to come from that group if that's kind of how it looks.
yeah, and there's also some pushing or some I don't know whatever going on about pretty much the mayor in the office keeps saying, we've got the 25-year plan. Just let it roll out for the next couple of years, and then you guys can start looking at the budget. We can start talking about long range plans. Whereas this council's like, we really need to evaluate stuff now and really take an overlook of everything and start talking about it. And it sounds like they're trying to get into the budget, and sounds like the mayor's saying, that's, leave it to the professionals. And, you guys just need to understand your place. But as we went through in our last tape, that power does belong with the city council, and that is their job. And so I'm hoping again that the budget process can be broken open a little bit, or a little more transparent this year in terms of top priorities. Like, where does homeless fit in the priorities of the city? From what it looks like now, where it fits in is it's not even their responsibility. Is
Wow.
what it looks like. Because it's like $100,000. They talk about $100,000 for roofing here and there, and that's about all you find for housing. Um,
Really?
$100,000. They've been repeated all over the place. $100,000, and then the multifamily tax credit. That's their big go-to. This is what we're doing for affordable housing. Neither of which do anything for affordable housing, or certainly for low-income housing. Um, and I don't, and they keep saying things, and things slip out because I get the sense that, and they used to be, Mayor Wheeler used to be a little more open when these things were on the video here, and his attitude was, look, we're doing enough for the homeless and the poor. We got 6% of the poor in the what county live here. We're doing as much as we need to. Let somebody else take the poor. Let somebody else do it. And that's pretty much been their attitude. Talk to Kitsap County.
Is that a quote?
No, it isn't,
Oh,
and
I'm like,
I'm not quoting. I'm paraphrasing what I heard at a meeting a year ago. So,
like
but
those black John here. Like,
but okay, I would like to see someone ask him what do you think the role is in providing services for the homeless and for providing services for the poor in this city. And um, I don't. I would hope he would. I don't know. I've never heard. I've had a chance to ask him that in public. So,
but
um,
as we're closing in on an hour and a half
okay.
somehow,
Oh, ah,
which is fantastic. We still need to send our email.
and yeah, where were we? Did I leave anything important on that sheet of paper?
Let me
So
get
this is
back.
all the links and the stuff and that.
We were here looking
Yeah,
at
here, right
the.
here. I didn't think we were going to have anything to talk about.
Oh yeah. Now that this really is good stuff.
Let's see. What about the PDF or whatever it was?
We opened up the agenda and the packet.
My doc, the doc that I created. Sorry.
Oh yeah, okay. And that was so long ago. I don't even know where that
I
is.
know. Kind of
Oh,
dove down a rabbit hole and never came back.
I downloaded it. Let me go and
Uh,
search for that.
uh,
Oh, there it goes. I found it.
I think that was most of the city meetings, district meetings. Videos, we did that, we did that. Agendas, meetings. Yep. Okay. We covered it all.
All right.
Um,
So I put this document earlier. It's already in the description of this show on YouTube. So that link is there now. So it's good. Pretty pretty cool when you can do things in real time. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and open up my email. And we're gonna go ahead and email City Council and ask them if we can cover the meetings and make it available for public comment for those that don't have access to computers. Let me go ahead and get that window open here. Pull that over. Like I said, one of the jokes is I have so many windows going at once. It's pretty ridiculous. Just story of my life here. Let's see. I got to find out where we're at. Okay. So let me go ahead and compose an email here. Compose. All right. And what was the address again?
City council. Oh, mine always fills it in automatically.
City.council. Make sure I spell it right. City.council at ci.bremerton.wa.us. Okay. The subject is, what are we going to call this subject here?
Public
Public
comment.
comment. Okay. Request, maybe.
Or public comment question, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Or request, yeah.
Yes. Question.
Yeah.
Good evening. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I would like to advocate for those who do not have access to a phone, computer, and or internet. I would like to allow those to use my computer to provide public comment at city council meetings. I don't know if I needed to capitalize that. All right. Question.
Or maybe I would like to allow people to share my computer. To share my computer. To share.
And they each provide their 3-minute comment, one after another, using my login. You think that's clear enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for your consideration. That correct that spelling? Okay. The Conduit Podcast Network. What do we think, everyone?
I like it.
Is it good?
I like it. Yeah.
Off we go. So,
all right, and then you can show the response when you get it. Yeah.
Yep, we sent
won't be immediate, but
right, but we'll be able to, respond back, share what the outcome of that was in a week, right? See if something happened in a week. And we'll share that email live on the show and just kind of show you how the process goes in
Nice.
real time and hopefully empower others to jump in there. That wasn't difficult, right? It was pretty easy to do. And now you have that handy dandy document to do that. And I kind of agree with the emails. I just feel like, hey, there's a written record in an email, right? If there's a phone call, it's like, I don't know what happened to that phone call. I don't know if you really said that or not.
Yeah.
Who'd you talk to? But their email's like, oh, no, I can just resend that if I need to. So I love
that's
the
true.
email there. So, man, I had a lot of fun tonight.
Thank you
for the education. We got to find a name for this show. I don't know what we're gonna call this. Like it's like the civics lesson. Kitsap Civics Fun.
Yeah.
Just fascinating. And when I grew up, I didn't care about any of this stuff. This stuff was boring to me. I know there's a lot of disenfranchised folks in our community and across the nation. And a lot of that really to me is the trick, right? It's like, you don't have time for that. Nothing's gonna change. These aren't the droids you're looking for. It's like, no, get involved. It's actually a lot easier than you think. And change can happen.
Absolutely.
So I love it. I want to give you the final word.
I don't know. I hope everybody gets involved. And I'm going to be at Monica's tomorrow night having a beer if anybody wants to come talk politics.
That's 6 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Where's Monica's at for everyone?
Monica's Social Club. It's right next to Salvation Army.
All right. Well, shout out to Monica's Social Club.
All right. Cool.
All right, everyone. For Jeff Campbell, I'm Marwan Cameron. This is, for now, The Reflection with Marwan and Jeff. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.